I'm heading up to the general practitioners. I've got to see whether they can clear my wax from my left ear. It's partially obscured the eardrum, and I need that to be exposed so that I can have a proper examination of my hearing at Specsavers in Smithfield. So I had a quarter an hour chat to this girl there that just examined my ears and then basically showed me the test results and said I've definitely had hearing loss, and discussed options, which obviously include things like a hearing aid. Apparently you can get the basic one for nix if you're on a pension, so that's pretty good. It is annoying, especially in a social situation when you can't hear other conversations, so I wouldn't mind something being done about that. It'd be quite good. But the first step is to get the wax out of the left ear. The right ear is apparently clear, but there's been a wax build up on the left ear, and I think I had it cleaned about 2 years ago in Parramatta Park. But I guess it didn't take too long for the build up to reoccur. So yeah, just got to get that out of the way. I'll probably have another booster shot too, because I'm in a high risk group when it comes to the COVID thing. But and there has been a lot of it floating around, obviously, because last Friday at the beach house someone had come down with COVID, and luckily I didn't get it. If the result of my test is correct, it was negative, but I guess they can be wrong. But I don't have any symptoms, that's the most important thing. And I'm feeling okay. As I've said, not as good as prior to having the medicine that I've going into me, but it's not affecting me drastically. I can do a 20-minute walk up to the local GP and back without any great problem. I don't think I could handle riding the bike up there. That would require a little bit more energy, and I'm not up for that. So it's affected me to that degree, you know. So, but not terribly. Not sleeping as well as I have, but I don't know if that's got anything to do with the medication. I woke up about, I think 1 a.m. last night, maybe even earlier, and couldn't get to sleep for a few hours, which is annoying. Anyway, happens with old age, I guess. It's one of those wonderful consequences of the biological clock ticking. Anyway, I'm walking actually. I've got an appointment at 2:30, so it's just a little after 2 o'clock. And according to the weather map online, it's about the hottest time of the day. It's about 27 degrees today. It's quite warm. There's not much of a breeze either. Lots of palm fronds floating around in this street. We did have some breezes yesterday and the day before. I think that's what causes a lot of that. It dislodges the dead ones. I've actually pulled off a few, and I got quite a haul on Sunday when I went round doing it. I did it the day early this time, so I was actually planned ahead, and I filled the bin up pretty quickly. They took it all, which was good. It was collection today, so that was all good. And I got my Coles delivery okay, but I got a bag for someone else, which is from the Trinity Anglican School. The driver was telling me that she's missing out on a bag, and I said, well, this bag here with the flour and crap in it is not mine. And so he had to take it back to her, so it's not too far away. But that's the first time that's happened. So if I hadn't been home, they would have left that bag there, so the poor woman would have had to. She runs a tuck shop apparently at Trinity Anglican School, and she would have been without ingredients, which would have been good. It's quite a bit of a flour that she had. They must cook up a fair bit. So that was fortuitous that I was around, and I could point out to them straight away that someone had stuffed up the batches of groceries. like I said, it's never happened to me, thank God, but I guess it just shows you that the system isn't flawless. Well, that's all done. It took, I couldn't go straight into their little clinical room down the back. Someone else was using it. They had a specific machine that's non-portable to suck out the wax from the ear. And but she got it done. She did it all in one go, and thought it was quite soft looking wax, but when she first removed it, then it was a bit more difficult than she thought, and I thought, oh no, we've got to do a couple of sessions. But no, she persevered, and it's a really weird sensation. It feels like you're in the centre of a vacuum cleaner, because you're right next to your eardrum and they're sucking out all this gunk, and it's very bizarre. Not painful, but a weird sensation. But she got it done, so that's brilliant. And apparently it's pretty common, and even more so with people with hearing aids. Great. So she did say to me, look, take a certain type of drop the night before you go to a GP to have your ears checked, because it's an easy thing for them to do. It's just a matter of shining the light down to the eardrum so they can check it really quickly. So I'd say every 6 months I might get it done from now on, just to make sure, because I think the left ear has a predilection to build up wax for some reason, like as opposed to the right ear, which was clean as a whistle. So anyway, it's done now, so that's great. And now I've got to just go back on Thursday to get a booster shot for COVID, and I'm pretty well done with all the medical for the time being. I mean, it's an ongoing process when you get the minor registered. So your second home is actually the GP or some other clinic. Pathetic. Yeah, we're not built to last. Planned obsolescence for the human body. Friday afternoon, about 4:50 in the afternoon, evening. Beautiful weather, absolutely stunning. I'd say it's about mid-20s. Perfect night to go down to the beach shack, which is on the beach itself, and catch up with the meetup group, which I've frequented on 3 other occasions. This will be the 4th. I think there's going to be someone I was talking to for quite some time who'll be here this time as well. It's Brian from New Zealand, Brian with a Y. And there's only 9 other people, well, actually 8 other people, excluding myself. So it's actually quite a small turnout, which is a bit disappointing because it's a perfect day for it. It's actually better weather than the first one I went to, which is when it was quite chilly by our standards. I give you that caveat. But today's just perfect weather for going down to the beach and having a chin wag with people. So yeah, I think one of the reasons it might be a relatively poor turnout is because there was a bit of a COVID scare from the previous Friday. Someone actually did come down with COVID during the time they were there. They felt sick during that time, and apparently they're recovering okay, but they're still sort of fighting to get back to 100%. So, you know, I suppose it can really knock people about. I've done all I can do. I did my RAT test on Saturday because I'm a high risk member, and it was negative. Not that the tests are infallible, but at least it's a pretty good guide. One thing I noticed when I did the test, I did the nasal swab. You have to rotate the swab around both nostrils about 15 times. Not the most pleasant thing on earth to do, but I thought I'd do it properly. Then you put in a solution and then put in a dripper, and you put 3 drips into a little depression, and supposed to wait a quarter of an hour for the result. But my result came up pretty well instantaneously. So I don't know if that's unusual, but I waited for the full quarter of an hour and it hadn't changed. It definitely showed that it was a negative result. So that was good. But I'm wondering the fact that there was someone who came down with COVID, if it's actually spooked some people. I mean, it's quite possible. People, we are talking about an over 50s group here, which is a relatively vulnerable group of people. If you're younger, you're more cavalier, especially towards something like this, because you are lower risk. So it's quite a rational reaction. And if you're over 50, of course, it's a rational reaction, I guess, to be more reticent to mix with people. But I'm not going to worry about it. All I could do was basically do that test, and I also got myself the booster shot yesterday. So I've had both boosters. I've done all I can do, and there is a school of thought that says that you're better off leaving it to natural immunity anyway. It's a better protector against things like COVID, and it may well be, but I thought I'd err on the side of caution. I had a chat to a nurse on Monday, and she said she's getting it herself. So I thought, oh, well, what the hell. I was going to put it off because I thought, well, they're still formulating the mix for the latest strains of COVID, but they'll never catch up, basically. So they're going to continue coming up with these boosters because it's a cash flow situation. You can see that there's an economic incentive for the Pfizers of this world to continue producing these vaccines. Why wouldn't you? So it's for government, should be protecting us and making sure they're not abusing their position in the market, but I don't trust governments to do that. Governments are compromised, politicians are corrupted, and Big Pharma has very deep pockets, so we know that they have the potential to influence politicians quite easily. So it's just a reality. You hope it doesn't happen, but you'd be stupid not to at least acknowledge it is a possibility, I think. So anyway, I love this part of the Gannett Road, Gannett Street. It's absolutely beautiful down here. This is what sold me on moving here, just this part of the world. It's magic. It's one of the nicest places I've seen. I feel very privileged to be living here, to be quite frank, considering what's going on in the world. Considering, boy, if you're in Ukraine, you're in a war zone. I mean, God, imagine living in a war zone. Oh. So we are so lucky here. A stable democracy, and we have a fabulous beach down there that's quite underutilised, I think. And yeah, life could be a lot worse. I think you've got to acknowledge when you're lucky, and just happenstance, I happen to be born in Australia, and I was very lucky. Also very lucky that I made the decision to move from Melbourne. I think that was a smart move. But I'm not the only one that's made it come to that conclusion. Apparently there is a bit of a move, not just from Melbourne, but from any southern state, including, you know, New South and Sydney. There's quite a movement up north due to COVID, due to a number of factors. The real estate situation in those states. I think values here are going to hold up for some time. They may well plateau and they may well stagnate for a decade, but I can't see it happening before midway through next year, to be quite frank, because I look at the figures that are on realestate.com, I look at my own property, and it gives the number of people looking for properties plus the number of people putting properties up for sale, and the proportion's about 40 to 1 at the moment. It's like about 20 properties in Kewarra Beach available for sale, and there's almost 800 people looking. So that would indicate to me that it's going to take a while for the steam to come out of this market, because prices here would still be seen as quite cheap by Melbourne and Sydney standards. That's my take on it anyway. Not that it matters, because I'm not selling. There's no way I'd be selling my place. But it's nice to know you get a capital appreciation. It's a nice feeling. But that's all it is. As a matter of fact, it'd be nice if things calm down a bit here, because then you could get a tradie. It's very difficult to get tradies up here. So I'd like to do some renovations, but getting the people at a reasonable price, well, I think you need to know someone or be related to them or whatever. That would help. Yeah, and I was talking to my cousin today, and it's 13 degrees down in Melbourne. And they had an electrical overload. And in their area, I think it said 80 homes in the area in Lilydale were affected by this overload. The electricity supplier, who supplies not the retailer but the actual infrastructure, they will be apparently compensating customers who have to have their appliances replaced. But it's an old for old policy, so they're not going to give you an upgrade of your oven or your heater or whatever. You're just going to basically get replacement. So, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Looks almost Spanish fields, that place, with the arches. I wouldn't have so many palms though, not with the palm fronds. Anyway, it'd be good to see. Hopefully the hardcore will be there tonight and have a bit of a chat. And I've got myself my libation, which is in the form of G&T in ice in a water bottle. So I'm doing a clandestine job today because the prices of wine here are ridiculous. So they forced me into this position. It's a lovely spot, but be buggered if I'm paying $9.50 for a drop or two of Shiraz. I can't even get Cab Sab just to get Shiraz in a glass. No, not good enough. Very nice here, but I can't see where the people are for the group. I have no idea where they are. This is always a problem for a guy with crap eyesight like me. So, unless they're over there, I don't know. I'll have to do the rounds again and just hope that someone sees me, because I've got no hope. Anyway, that's what it looks like in dusk anyway. This is the area. Should have actually took a shot at the reception area. It's very swish for the resort. But it's just great here. What a great place to live. 10 minutes walk from where I live. Wow. Opulent reception area before you go down to the shack, the beach shack. So had a interesting night there. I must admit I felt like a total tight ass. Everybody else was buying drinks. I couldn't believe it. The last time I was here, no one had any drinks, but I think it was because I got here later and they maybe had already bought stuff, but they'd bought a lot of drinks tonight. So I think some people spent 30-40 bucks on drinks. And Mr. Tight Ass, I spent bugger all because I had my beef eater, and it worked well for me. So, but it must have looked weird to them because I was drinking out of a water bottle while they were drinking out of glasses or beers. Jesus, I'm terrible. Mind you, I don't mind buying the beers at the beach house because that's quite reasonably priced. But and the other thing is that when I got a drink of wine, I got about a quarter of a glass, and I saw what the other people got, and they got much double the volume that I was given. So the girl who served me really screwed me badly when it came to the volume of the wine. So I guess that really put me off. But tonight now, because of my tight-hearted arseness, dear, I probably overreacted. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.